Hello, welcome everyone. Today we have a very special guest by the name of Mustafa Yorgancıoğlu. He was born in Famagusta and he worked in the field of software development. He studied in Arizona and has worked with IBM for more than 10 years. He's going to be talking about his experiences. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Just like you just heard, my name is Mustafa Yorgancıoğlu. I was born and raised in Famagusta, Cyprus. I've been in software business since 1996, before most of you were born probably. I finished the Ege University Computer Science and Engineering Department and then went to Arizona State University for master's study in computer science. And since then, I've been working in the software development industry. I started with a startup company. I joined the startup company in Phoenix, Arizona in late 1990s. I don't know, maybe you heard it on the news. There was a dot-com boom and dot-com bust around year 2000 when everybody wanted to build an internet company and make millions of dollars. So before I graduated from Arizona State University in May 1996, a classmate of mine wanted me to join his company where he was a manager, and it was a startup company. They wanted to build collaboration tools around Lotus Notes. That's a historic name. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. And I said yes. So before I finished school, I started going part-time to that business. I joined as part-time. And then as soon as I finished school, full-time, and I didn't make millions. The company went under, but I had a lot of experience. So after that, I worked with a number of companies, medium-sized companies and huge companies like IBM with 400,000 people, more people in IBM than in Northern Cyprus, basically. So I have some experience over the years. Things change, but experience usually stays, and you can always extrapolate what you learned in the past into the future. And I wanted to share a slice of that with you guys here. I'm really honored to be here. When I was in Izmir for undergraduate study in 89, 93, we were told that computer science, computer programming is the career, the way of the future. And that's still true. It's been 30 years since then. It's still true. So computing devices are everywhere on our desktops, in our pockets. So they do certain tasks. So that means some people have to program these devices. That's where I come in. That's where you come in. So you're in the right place and right time, basically. And what I wanted to show here is basically for those of you who are interested in starting a, not necessarily a business in software, but join maybe a business with software or build a software solution and sell it by yourself, by your friends, a number of people, it doesn't really matter. You can do that much more easily now compared to 10, 15 years ago. And I'll just show a slice of things to do and tools to use. There are so many other tools, but I mean, it's a presentation with 30, 40-minute time duration, so I wanted to minimize it. Let's give it to you in that sense. So that's the agenda. How do you, in today's world, how do you build a software solution? Not necessarily a company, but a solution. And make money. Basically, that's the end goal. I mean, either you're a software developer or you have some other position in this initiative, but you need to know these items that is inside this initiative so that you can take part and do good things. At the end of the day, this is about solving an actual business problem and making money. That's the bottom line. That's why I do software developments, because somebody pays for it, because I solve problems for them or make their problems smaller, less problematic, or maybe totally erase a problem, depends. But make their lives easier, that's for sure. Otherwise, they're not going to pay for the software that I develop. It has to solve a problem. And that's the very first item. Identify a business problem that when you solve, a business or a person or many people will be willing to give you money to get that solution. And to do that, you have to do a lot of things, but once you identify the problem, you need to use some software tools and business applications to make it happen. And in the end, of course, we have a framework where we can say, using this, you can solve the problem and achieve your goal. In this presentation, actually, I'm working on such a solution right now. It's in its early phase. I started selling a software in North Cyprus for the first time in my life. I've been selling solutions to other countries like US, UK, etc. But finally, I decided to do something locally. And I'll share parts of that as well, so that you can see how it evolves to some extent using this methodology. So the first step is to identify a problem, and how do you do that? You need to speak with people in business who have some issues, like maybe not every issue is solvable by computers. I mean, let's be honest. Computers are about efficiency, so we have to do things more efficiently. That's where computers, software come in. But if the idea is to if the idea involves physical matters, it's less likely that computers will be that useful. Sometimes they are, but less likely. So you need to speak with people to see what pains they have. And we're in the business of, in software development, solving business pains or consumer pains. They don't have to be businesses. And to do that, you need to read magazines, trade magazines preferably, speak to people, hear their complaints. Complaint is a boring thing or annoying thing, but actually complaints are what people suffer from. So when you solve those problems, you can make good living. So that's how it goes. And in the end, of course, you have to build the solution and then market it, and that's the end goal. That's the summary of it. Identify a business problem and decide what it is, then decide to solve it. And just like I said, you can go to websites like Reddit, Quora, and others to listen to what complaints people have. Maybe they're complaining about their iPhone calendar application not being good, or maybe the Turkish language or your local language support is not good. I wish there was a solution which did this in my local language or local area in Crimea, or maybe I wanted to go hiking and I don't know the hiking routes, hiking trails in North Cyprus. Maybe somebody should write a app for Android or iOS which shows the nearest hiking trails, how long it is, how many hours it takes to walk it, if there's any amenities. And that would be useful to a lot of people who want to do hiking or biking and things like that. Again, if you hear things like, I wish this was like that, that's a complaint, it's a wish. It's like the universe is giving you a message. Somebody or some people are awaiting a solution to this problem. That's a key word to listen to. These are Reddit and Quora, US-based, worldwide forums where people talk about things like that. And you have to do a lot of networking, like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. They can be used for useful things as well. It's not just wasting time on social media. I don't accept that. I don't have Facebook myself, but I'm active on LinkedIn. It's good for networking. For marketing and some other functions, you can use HubSpot, which I'll show you very quickly. It's a free tool. That's the nice thing. All of the tools I'm showing right now, I'll be showing, are all free. So you don't have to spend any money at all. Here are a number of those tools, which are all free. Notion for saving information, taking notes, organizing the information, and sharing it with friends. When I was in college, if I had Notion, I would have saved a lot of money on textbooks because I write a lot. My handwriting is not good. Sometimes I can't read what I write, but I could have just saved it in Notion and organized it in ways that I cannot do on paper. And then when it's time for exams, I can study more efficiently. So even if you're not going to build a solution and sell it, you can still use Notion. It's a pretty nice tool for taking notes and organizing your information. HubSpot and UTrack are other free tools where you can use for customer relationship management, or later on UTrack for product management. So if you're in software business, you need to manage the product, like what issues it has, who's working on it, tracking all that. That takes a lot of effort, and you need to be more organized with tools like this. Okay, this is the last page where I'll just talk about things you might not understand, and then I'll show you when I use it actually. So hopefully it will make more sense. VS Code you might have heard about if you have any programming experience. It's a free development environment. I use it for JavaScript, React, but you can use it for C#, Python, and any other programming language pretty much. React is a JavaScript library for web development. I've used that. I'll be showing you pretty soon. MongoDB is another great invention. It's a backend database for free. I mean, it's good for storing the data, retrieving it, reporting it, charting it, everything. And it's free. 15 years ago, if I had these tools, I would have probably built like 10, 20 applications. I don't know how popular they would be, but I would be very tempted to build a lot of programs because they're all free. Back then I had to pay for SQL license, Windows license, and other licenses. That stopped me from building some solutions that I would have. Not that they would have necessarily succeeded, but having these tools and having them free is pretty important. Last is Vercel, where you build your application and put it on a remote server somewhere on the cloud, on the internet. Again, up to a certain degree, it's free. So you can build applications, have them hosted free. $0, 0 Turkish liras. It's all free. You have to just know which tools to use. These are all examples, and there are others, many others, which are also free, and some of them are even better than these, who knows. But this is a good stack, basically. All right, so this guy is your customer. His hair is on fire. He wants a solution. So he's ready to give you a chance that if your minimum viable product MVP is not very good, he's still okay to try it because he really needs it. So you have to look for customers like that who are in dire needs of a solution. Then they would be okay if they try your product and it's not 100% ready yet. That's all right. Okay. Okay, I switched screen here, but it didn't switch here. So what do I do? The screen is not switching. Bir saniye, bir saniye.
Şey değiştirdim. Bu ekran açar mısın?
Yok, gerek yok. Birazdan bakarız. So, thank you. This is one application I recently built and I'm still working on. It's actually from the customer side. So this is the real thing. It's a auto dealer car gallery. I don't know how to say it. So these cars are for sale in case you're interested. And this is a React application where you can basically interact. Let's say you want a BMW. It just updates the screen, as you see, pretty quickly. It only shows the BMW cars on sale. And let's say you need to focus on certain models. As you can see, it's pretty quick. It's responsive. And that's the nature of the programming language React. And all the data about this car and other cars are stored in the Mongo database, which is also free and pretty quick, as you observed here. What I've done here is, it's a pretty straightforward web application, not very complicated, to be honest, but it has all the necessary features for browsing the pictures of the cars, and basically all the other information about the car, etc. And what it does is, whenever you click on a phone number or email or Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, it records that. So it records that this user is interested in this BMW and clicked on a phone to call the gallery, auto gallery. The information is all recorded, so I can give a report to the owner saying that in the month of May, 200 people went to your website. 5 of them wanted to learn about BMWs, 2 of them about Fords, and you received 10 phone calls. So how many did you sell? Like, giving that information to the business owner tells them which cars are getting the most interest. That's a business problem for them. And which cars are not getting any interest. Nobody's calling about them. Nobody's opening and seeing the pictures, etc. So that was a problem explained to me by a friend of mine who runs this business. And he said, we have a website now, but it's slow. I don't want to go with the same guy again. I want a fast-working, clean website. So that was a business problem, a complaint, and I acted on it. If everything was great, he wasn't gonna ask me to do something about it, but there was a problem, a pain, so basically that prompted me to work on this. So this is what the clients can see, and if you're looking for a car, this is where you go. And the way I designed this, a second application, such that it's in Turkish, but maybe you have minimum Turkish knowledge to understand what this is. This is logging in for the administration purposes. Here, what you do is you go in and you manage your data. So right now, let's say I am the business owner who wants to add more vehicles or remove or update pictures, change their price, etc. So this is where they go. And they make changes, they change price, they add more vehicles, or maybe they delete this because it's sold, etc. So the way it's designed, it's that I can onboard new customers in half a day, or actually I can give them passwords in 10 minutes. they can start entering their vehicle information and build up their inventory. And in parallel to that, I add all the other information to build up their website. And in 1 or 2 days, they can be up and running. So it's called time to value. Like you make a purchase, how long after do you get value from that purchase as a customer? It's called time to value. It's a good measure. And with this solution overall, I try to minimize that. And that way, I mean, if somebody is looking for a new auto gallery website, I can get them up and running in 1 or 2 days. So that's pretty quick. So all this is made possible with the use of these tools. Let me go to that page. Okay, this is where it is all happening. So I built that code in VS Code. It's a React application. Its data is stored in MongoDB. I deployed all the solution to Vercel, and using mobile laptops or cell phones or actual desktops, laptops, you can see it. Everything here is done basically, other than my time, it's done for free. So 10, 15 years ago, I could not have done this without spending any money out of my pocket. And that's what Bootstrap means. You start an initiative with minimum resource, minimum money, or no money from your own pocket. That's what Bootstrap approach means. Some people might have, okay, I have million liras, let me invest in a business, build a business. That's not Bootstrap. They start with money. But if you start with zero money, you can still have all those tools I mentioned for free and still give it a shot. You can do it. So that's pretty much what I wanted to explain to you guys. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. That's what Walt Disney said once. So I'm stopping talking here. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. And by the way, you can always reach me via email and, okay, I don't know what these are. There you go. You can reach me with this email address. That's the website where I host all the solutions. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Anyone wanting to build some software solution, interested in building computer software somewhere? Yes, go ahead.
Do you think with the development of AI, we can use... Okay. Do you think we should, like, with the development of AI, we can use less coding to develop something like that? Because I don't have any coding experience, let's say.
That's an excellent question. Yes, very much so. In fact, somewhere along my development, I used ChatGPT to write a module because I was lazy. I didn't want to do everything, line by line, letter by letter. So I used ChatGPT to say, write me a React program which does this specific little thing. And it did. It didn't work because it was old and free version, but at least I got some idea and used it. If you pay $20 a month, you can get the up-to-date ChatGPT, and it will give you working programs. So that's a very good question, and let me answer this in another way as well. It is said that with the introduction of AI tools everywhere, ChatGPT, and there are like 20, 30 others, there will be, some of the mundane day-to-day tasks will be automated like this. Very true. But then that will push people to go to more creative tasks, which AI cannot do at this time. So it's a continual chase. Automation is chasing us. We are the workers. We work and we make money. and automation is chasing us to directions. With the case of OpenAI, we have to go to more creative works direction as opposed to very laborious, mundane tasks. So every year, this answer I'm just giving will be different because things are moving so fast, it's hard to catch up. Good question.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone curious about what I mentioned?
While we're formulating the questions, I had actually one to ask. You were talking about going on the forums and searching for the pain and the
Yes.
problems and so on. Do you use any solutions for web scraping?
I don't. There are some, again, free web scraping tools, usually written in Python. And if I wanted to, I would use such a tool. I tested it a few years ago, but for mass marketing, I think web scraping works best. But in my cases, at least, I had to have more individual touch, speak with people for the kind of stuff I'm doing right now. For different kinds of things, many kinds of things, web scraping is a very, very efficient way to collect information. I agree.
Sorry, what's web scraping?
So on the website, there's a lot of information you see and you don't see. And if you want to, let's say you want to build like what's that website, keketeciarabam.com kind of place, right? So you either write or use a web scraping program, and you tell it to go to these websites. You give the list of websites and scrape all the car information for me, like make, model, year, price. So it goes each website, and there's a little bit of artificial intelligence. It parses the data from each website and stores it. So you don't have to go visit each website and write down BMW 2022, 30,000 British pounds, color black. The web scraping collects all that information, then you can open it in a database or Excel and just see it. All the information about vehicles and where it came from fıratsehat.com or keketeciarabam.com or whatever place. So web scraping is very, very powerful. It's been in use for, I don't know how long, 10, 20 years. Has anyone any web programming experience? Any programming language?
I want to know about the linking, or I don't know, maybe it's not a good word, but you said that you collect some of these information in some certain platforms.
Right.
I don't remember the name, and you showed us something like mind mapping. Then I want to know, how do you link these together to create your website or application?
Well, so this is the JavaScript program, React program, and it's getting its data. Look here, fetch data, active vehicles data from some place, some module, and that module is, if I can, there it is. Right here, it's making API calls, like there's a MongoDB application with an exposed API. It's fetching results from this URL by providing its client ID. So it's an API call, REST API and other usually REST API is used to get data or push data or update data. So that's how the data moves back and forth. Here it's fetching, here's adding information, pushing data to the destination.
So you place them in JavaScript to.
Yes, that's what I meant by React. It's a special kind of JavaScript library where all these things are made easier, but because you have to be effective. So yeah, React program, which uses JavaScript programming language, pulls everything together. Yes. I think there was another question.
Another question?
You have asked who knows some program.
Yeah, who knows programming languages? I think you raised your hand. Which language is that?
Well, I know Python. I used React, so of course I know JavaScript, Python. But it's not a question, just some
okay.
languages.
Have you used any databases?
I used just Oracle SQL and how the SQL. Don't quite remember the name, but the also SQL like Oracle. I used it for a bit. Well, mostly Oracle.
MySQL or Postgres?
Yes, my SQL. Sorry, I just forgot.
That's another free tool as long as you don't use it too much or something like that. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, thanks.
Since most of us don't know many or any programming languages, what can you suggest for those people who don't know anything?
Well, it's impossible not to know anything. But this, I mean, it's a teamwork usually, and people have different roles. I mean, if there's a team of 6 people building a software and selling it, 1 or 2 of them will be programmers, maybe 3, but the others will be salespeople or customer relationship people, not necessarily doing any programming at all. So where you find yourself in such an organization, it doesn't have to be the programming person. So customer relationship is always there, because all this means nothing if you can't sell anything, right? So salespeople and customer relationship people are actually the rock stars. Programmers, we're just, yeah, we're like we're doing the hard work, let's say, but hard work does not equate to any earnings necessarily, unless you have some good salespeople and customer relationship people. I don't know, does that answer your question?
Somewhat. I'm also interested, what would be your tip how to start coding? What, for example, I'm from game design department here.
Okay.
And my coding would be referencing like instances in a game engine. And what would be, for example, how should I start going about it?
Again, I would be reading gaming-related forums, what people spend time on. That's where there's activity, and what problems they have, or what I wish I could do this kind of feedback, comments. One thing I've learned over the years is that if you try to create a category yourself, it's a very difficult thing to do. You don't have to invent. That's very difficult. But if something is already going on, people are paying money for that game, like let's say Fortnite. Maybe you heard of it. So players pay money for certain characters, right? They pay money to be the certain character, like I don't know, The Rock or something, or whatever famous character. They pay money to have the powers of that character in the game. So maybe if you go to the forums for such a game, since you're into gaming, you would see what people are interested in, are willing to pay for, and then what they complain about, or I wish I could do this kind of feedback. That's where opportunities are. I'm not into gaming myself, but the same rule applies here as well. I mean, you have to go where the business activity exists, because you don't want to invent it, and you need to see what people are doing, paying money for, and what they're complaining about or saying, I wish I could do this. That's where there are opportunities. Yep. Well, if you have any questions later on, you can email me. Let me go back to that screen. You can email me at this address.
May I ask one question?
Sure. Oh, hi.
Have you ever done any game programming or something?
I'm embarrassed to say the first and only game program I wrote was when I was in summer training in Eastern Mediterranean University. I wrote Pac-Man on Linux, but that's it. I'm not into gaming, unfortunately. My son is, but I'm not. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can reach out at that email address. Thanks.
Thank you very much for this information.
You are welcome.
Şöyle dursanız daha iyi olur.
Well, that was not a bad shot, but this is not how it all started. I've always been dreaming of becoming a filmmaker. I believe that a good movie can make our world a better place. But I need to learn more. Life is like a video game. It's fun and it's challenging at the same time. Every accomplished mission leads to another one. Look at these harmonious moves. A perfect combination of mind and body, absolute freedom of self-expression. Art imitates life, and nature is the ultimate masterpiece. To design like a master, you must learn the basics and then go beyond. But how? So our journey began to this magical place, Cyprus. We found our voices. We heard each other's songs. We captured our moment, and we painted our lives. Not to mention the fun. We illuminated our future. We learned from the past. The craft and the knowledge came together to create art. There's a lot to discover and a lot to be done. We were taken by hand, one by one. The journey goes on, and the future is bright. The seeds we planted will give years of beautiful blossoms. So our dreams came to life, and life became like a dream. The magic is real, only if you believe. The journey we began finally came to an end. But it's time for a new start. Now, let's take another shot.
Ah!